Longhaul truckers, what's the creepiest / most paranormal thing you've seen on the road at night? Maybe a bit off the mark, but it still scared the heck out of me. I was headed west on I-76 here in Denver, just cruising along at about 70 miles per hour. Out of nowhere, I saw a massive, almost solid cloud of what looked to be dirt coming at me. I'd say it was at least 20 feet wide and 10 feet tall. I scanned ahead of me, but couldn't see any vehicle it could have came from. With nowhere to go, I slowed down and took the hit, hoping there wasn't anything big enough in there to come through the windshield or jack up my truck owner/operator. It was pretty loud as I smashed through it. The instant it hit, I knew it wasn't dirt though. I immediately hit the washers because I couldn't see a dang thing through all of the carnage. My windshield was painted with guts. Turns out it was bees, freaking huge bees, that sounded like rocks when they hit. I can't even imagine seeing that swarm if I was walking. They would kill the heck out of anything in their path. Semi-related. I bought a new car several months ago and had to drive the 395 from Reno to Vegas to get it. Dang lack of deals in North Nevada. Trip down was fine, but headed back north it was later in the day when we left, and it was dark by the time we got to Walker Lake Reservation. Late summer, pitch black at about 10 PM, and little do I know, that lake is known for mud swarms. I thought it started sprinkling rain as we rounded the bend, but soon started pumping my windshield wash as fast as I could, as my windshield was plastered with thousands of midges and a gigantic swarm over the road. I slowed from 40 miles per hour to 20 as visibility was poor at best for a good 2-mile stretch of seemingly endless bug apocalypse. I ran out of windshield wiper fluid near the end of it and had to drive 15 miles to the next town, barely able to see. Had my sister-in-law with me, and I'm fairly certain it was the scariest moment of both of our lives to date. Don't go to Walker Lake in summer after dark, yo. Place apparently gets spiders so bad in the summer, bushes look like wads of webbing. Also, so much for my new car being detailed. I'm fairly certain the garage still stinks of bug guts after that power washing, and there's still guts hidden in crevices on that car. Had a picture, but not on this phone. A good friend of mine told me this story years ago. He is the stereotypical old big bad trucker. I've seen some weird stuff with him while driving in South Texas along the border. He never batted an eye, but while telling me this story he had goosebumps and a concerned expression, which from this guy is about the equivalent of a trembling lip and poop-stained pants. I'll tell this story in the first person as he told it to me. Years ago in the late 90s, I was on my way from the house, Central Texas, heading to Laredo to pick up a load. It was early morning, around 4 or 5. I had just come off a string of days at home, so I know I wasn't tired. I'm on one of those 2-lane winding roads in the absolute middle of nowhere when I see something on the side of the road at the edge of my high beams. At first I just thought it was roadkill, as is usually the case. As I get closer, I see that it is roadkill, and there's someone crouching over the deer carcass. I remember thinking either this guy's taking the antlers as a trophy, or he's freaking sick. As I got closer, still I can now see that this guy's eating the freaking deer. He's pulling chunks of meat from the stomach and bringing them up to his face. At this point he stops mid-motion and looks up at me. Not at my truck, but at me. It stands up, and that's when I see that it's freaking huge, brown, and covered in hair. I remember thinking at this point, oh frick, this thing is standing on the tiny shoulder looking at me. By this point, maybe 3 seconds have passed, and I'm about to the point in the road he's standing at. I didn't even think of stopping. In fact, I'm starting to lay on it and get the heck out of there. As I'm passing it, it's looking at me. Again, not at the truck. It's looking through the driver's side windshield at me. He obviously has the intelligence to know that there's a driver in here and knows where I'm sitting. As I start to pass him, I can still see its head above the hood of an old needle nose beat. Old truck design, where the hood goes straight out from the windshield, known for being tall and difficult to see around. This thing is freaking giant. I remember seeing what looked like human intelligence in its eyes. It scares the life out of me. Sorry for the wall of text. It's a story worth sharing though. TLDR. Bigfoot eating a deer on the side of road. Okay, so here is a spook for you, and to this day I still have no idea what the frick So I was in the Virginia/Maryland area and had a lot of work related sites ranging from downtown Baltimore to Virginia Beach and all around. Friday wrapped up and I hit the road to some social arrangements I had made for the weekend. Spent the weekend with friends out in various parts of Virginia, got dragged off to other places even further out, the usual weekend fun times. It's late Sunday night when I have to leave, or I'm not going to be able to get home in time to start my, thankfully late afternoon, Monday. I'm fully rested. I didn't do any drinking. I'm not into drugs. On the highway at about 3 AM, in the middle of nowhere between Roanoke and DC, absolutely nobody around. I'm cruising along in the left lane simply because nobody else is around. No headlights for the past hour, no tail lights either. No road lamps either. It's dark, it's mildly damp, it's foggy. I have the music up, I'm feeling good, all is fine. And then I just happen to look to the left and there is a freaking dog barking at me. A German Shepherd, in a car passenger seat, somewhat blue glow from the instruments inside the car, and it's got its face to its window and it's barking its head off at me. I get a good hard look at it too, because at first my brain is not registering cop car. Dummy. I'm doing 90 plus in a 75. I promptly have the oh frick moment when the dog, the instruments, the white Crown Vic/light bar all click in my brain after a second hard look. I put my foot on the brakes and start slowing down hard but safe to pull over. I even put my blinker on to start shifting lanes over to the right to pull over because, wait, there is no shoulder on the left side of this road. I look back to my left, where there is still no shoulder/room for another car, and it's just gone. No trace. I slammed my brakes and stopped in the middle of the freaking highway, flipped on all my light bars and even looked around with my handheld spot. There was nothing. No tail lights, no headlights, no engine sounds, nothing. There are no other tire marks in the damp but mine, and I can see for a nice long distance both ways too. Nothing. My vehicle had great visibility and a lot of extra lighting, off-road SUV with the trimmings. There is no possible way somebody pulled a sneaky, let alone drove that fast on wet sloped grass and rocks on my left side. So, yep, there you have it. Ghost cop and his dog didn't like me speeding, apparently. Creepiest. Driving I-30 through Texas and Arkansas, I would see what looked like animals/faces popping out of the bushes, but longer than a glance proved nothing there. They had just paved the highway, and there was hardly any traffic. I was dead tired. It was super dark. Highway hypnosis, I suppose. Paranormal. When I went to local driving, my route ran near an air reserve base in Indiana, so you'd see planes and helicopters pretty often. One night, about 2 AM, I was headed to pick up another load when I saw a bright green light in the corner of my windshield. It was too low to be an aircraft. It moved pretty slowly, then darted and I lost sight of it behind some trees I drove by. Typical I saw a UFO stuff, but I still think it was just a helicopter or a jet that I saw at the prefect angle that turned after a takeoff. The jet pilots have broken the sound barrier over town a couple times in the past. Sonic boom. So a jet flying abnormally isn't necessarily out of the realm of possibility. Just bat crazy. Driving south on I-75 in the winter in Ohio, I witnessed a compact car like a Cobalt or similar get on the on-ramp to merge into I-75 north and lost control. They went sideways, fell at least 6 feet off the ramp, and onto the shoulder of the interstate landing on all 4 wheels, spun 360 degrees, and then proceeded to merge into traffic like it was freaking nothing. Blew my freaking mind. The CB radio was going freaking nuts for about 5 minutes. Holy moly, who else just freaking saw that, etc. That last story was somebody driving in real life, like they do in GTA. My grandfather was in the Air Force, and one night he was driving back to his base maybe, I can't quite remember, and he saw a woman standing on the side of the road in a long white dress at about 2 AM. He circled back to ask if she needed help, and she was nowhere to be seen. He searched for her for about an hour before giving up and deciding to leave it alone. When he decided to go on his way, he had a strong feeling that he needed to switch lanes. He was on the road alone in the middle of the night, so he had no idea why, and just ahead on the road there was a broken down truck with no hazards on that he would have hit and probably been killed by if he stayed in the lane he had been in. To this day he's convinced the woman was trying to warn him, like an omen or something. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Don't forget to leave your stories in the comments below.